In today's news, active positive COVID-19 cases decreases to 441, while deaths increases to 37. And we also see a decline in hospitalizations.
The 2021 Emancipation Services have been held virtually, showcasing BVI History and Heritage while honoring the lives lost due to COVID-19.
And we see the curfew in the BVI to extend for another 14 days from tomorrow.
The 21 days of prayer and fasting culminates with a virtual service.
And BVI to soon have 2 functional competition-sized swimming pools after government identified locations on Tortola and Virgin Gorda. All this and so much more went to it for news returns.
You value traditions. Today, you value music. You value education. Family.
I love you.
Service.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Love. Life. At Popular, we're committed to you and everything our community values. For the things you value the most, count on us. Popular.
Welcome everybody. It's Thursday, August 5th, 2021. A happy Thursday to each and every one of you. We're coming to you live and direct from the beautiful British Virgin Islands. I'm Ron Grant.
And I'm Kamal Haynes. Thank you guys for joining us. Well, we start with news from COVID-19, where we see in the BVI active positive COVID-19 cases declining, with now at 441, while deaths has increased to 37. And this is according to the Minister of Health, Carmen Malone, who revealed those latest statistics to 284 Media during an interview on Thursday, August 5th. When Minister Malone said the decline in active cases was due to a number of factors which have been working cohesively together to produce the latest results.
We're pleased of the performance of all of the healthcare workers, the persons in public health, the persons in environmental health, the persons in the laboratory services, throughout the Health Services Authority, the actual Royal Virgin Islands Police Department, the Social Distancing Task Force, and the Virgin Islands public in large measures for adhering to the protocols and measures that were put in place so that we can then effectively bring this bring the occurrence down. At one point, almost on an hourly basis, that has been substantially reduced.
Well, the health minister also said that despite the increase in COVID-19 related deaths, there are some positive signs from the hospitalization statistics which suggest a decline in persons being admitted.
We also have the cases of where, while we've had an increase in deaths, we also have an increase in persons being released from the special unit ward, persons being released from the ICU, and persons who, in other ways, were able to be released from the emergency room without admittance, without being admitted to the special unit. We call on everyone to report of any symptoms they have early. While you may try to get yourself cured, the best, most effective way of doing this is to report it to the medical professionals so that they can then have early intervention, early treatment, so you can then get through this together.
In the meantime, Minister Malone continued to encourage residents to get vaccinated, stating that the vaccination numbers continue to gradually increase in the territory. Well, according to the minister, 12,187 persons are now fully vaccinated, while 4,403 are partially vaccinated, to bring the total vaccinated and partially vaccinated persons in the BVI to 16,590. Well, he said that the total will increase once the number from the USVI BVI vaccination initiative is tabulated, along with other instances where residents would have traveled abroad and received a COVID-19 vaccine.
This is not to be confused. We have always reported the number of first doses, 16,590. We've also reported of that number, 12,187 has been fully vaccinated, i.e. getting or receiving both doses. And the remaining 4,403 are those persons who have received only one dose. And when they have received the second, or fully vaccinated persons will be up to facility that were granted to us by the United States Virgin Islands government, we were able to take our first cohort or first boatload of folks, 35 persons, mainly those persons between ages 12 and 17, down to St. John's, being administered either the Pfizer or the Johnson & Johnson, and then they returned in a very short time and order. This will be added to the number of persons vaccinated. We also have a number of persons who on their own will traveled abroad, whether it's Puerto Rico or United States or United States Virgin Islands, and they had received their vaccinations. Those persons mostly are not recorded as yet. We will seek to get the cry out to them, to call out to these persons to get themselves registered in our portal so that we can have a more accurate count as to those persons who are fully vaccinated.
Well, viewers, the BVI government is aiming to have at least 80% of the population fully vaccinated to create herd immunity in the territory. Around, we hear some very good news. We see a decline in the positive active COVID cases. But yeah, we just see a little increase in deaths, which is very unfortunate considering the current circumstance in the territory.
One of the things that's interesting is when we compare our situation to that over in the USVI, they too have presently the exact number of deaths. Unfortunately, they are also at 37. So I think one of the things that we need to continue to monitor is really the level of recovery, which we're thankful that that is showing forth. The minister alluded in these statements about the vaccination. While we encourage persons to vaccinate, I don't believe that at this point we're going to see much more vaccinations from the territory. I think, believe it or not, there's a precise yes or no with many residents. And I think with all of the initiatives that have come forth from the government of the Virgin Islands, mainly the most recent, which was successful, the drive-through, which saw a number of persons. I could be wrong, but I don't think we're going to see that level of vaccinations continue.
Well, I mean, in terms of that particular point, I do believe there will be a continuation in vaccination, but probably not at the pace we would have seen over the last 2 weeks.
Correct.
Due to the obviously the spike and obviously cases going down. Persons, we all know persons will become more complacent, and then persons will take it upon themselves not to go and get vaccinated because there's no longer any threat in their estimation. So
Yes, which is very unfortunate.
Yeah, I totally understand you.
Now, coming out of a very long Emancipation holiday weekend, the Emancipation Service 2021 was held virtually this year to ensure that the people of the Virgin Islands continue to remain safe during COVID-19. According to the Deputy Premier and Minister for Education, Culture, Youth Affairs, Fisheries and Agriculture, Dr. the Honorable Natalio D. Wheatley, this year's service reflected our ancestral history and emancipation story. In addition, a special remembrance was held for those who have lost their lives to COVID-19. Now, he said, and I quote, "Now more than ever, the Virgin Islands must continue to unite in the strength of prayer and purpose. We must continue to remember the strength of our ancestors and foreparents who, like us, went through similar experiences, and they always came back together. They always came together, unified for the Virgin Islands, and our action must be no different." Now, viewers, the annual Emancipation Service was held this past Sunday, August 1st. The service was held virtually and included remarks by Minister Wheatley, as well as Premier and Minister of Finance, the Honorable Andrew A. Foy. There were also tributes and presentations from various churches, as well as original pieces from the Virgin Islands Poet Laureate, Dr. Richard Georges, president of the H. Laverty Stout Community College, who is also a writer and researcher, Miss Eugenia O'Neill, singer and songwriter, Mr. Javon Klein. The sermon of the day was given by a senior pastor of the King Garden Bay Baptist Church and chairman of the Virgin Islands Heritage Month Committee, the Reverend Dr. Melvin A. Turnbull. Now, Director of Culture, Dr. Catherine Smith, said, and I quote, "It was heartwarming to witness the spirit of compassion which the churches and participants in our virtual Emancipation Service 2021 are giving of their time and talents." She added, this special remembrance ceremony was held in honor of those who have passed due to COVID-19 virus, as even as the commemoration of our ancestors remains the reason for this virtual service. Now, to ensure the health and safety of persons in the Virgin Islands during this time where the territory is experiencing a COVID-19 spike, the Festival and Fairs Committee did cancel all Emancipation Celebration events except for the Emancipation Service Now, more information will, of course, be provided at a later date on the Miss BVI pageant. We know there are young ladies that have been selected and signed up, and they are working diligently to bring these presentations and performances to the general public. Now, the Emancipation Service is held every year on the first Sunday in August and celebrates freedom from colonialism and slavery through prayer and worship. The following first Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday are holidays which we just celebrated to celebrate the history and culture of the people with different activities ranging from musical and talent showcase to cultural displays of food and games. On August 1st, 1834, the Emancipation Act saw the abolition of slavery from Britain. Now, Director of Culture, Dr. Catherine Smith, sat down with myself for an in-depth interview reflecting Virgin Islands history and heritage. This interview can be viewed on 284media.com as well as 284media on Facebook and YouTube. We also did some very special interviews over this weekend, of course, including former legislator Eileen L. Parsons, OBE, where we looked at August Monday reflections, as well as a look at horse racing with Mr. Lesmore Smith, who is presently the president of the BVI Horse Owners Association. In case you did not get an opportunity to view those interviews, you can do so by visiting our Facebook page as well as our website and YouTube.
A very informative interview, also viewers as well. Well, still ahead, the curfew in the BVI to extend to another 14 days from tomorrow. This and so much more after a word from our sponsors.
ultra-fast downloads, seamless streaming, and even more reliable connectivity on an all-new fire-blazing super-fast CCT fiber network. CCT Fire. Bring it home and upgrade today.
Well, viewers, welcome back. Well, the curfew in the British Virgin Islands is set to be extended from tomorrow, August 6th, for another 14 days. But this was published in the government's official gazette on Tuesday, August 3rd, and stated that the Governor John Rankin made the order after exercising his powers conferred by Section 3 and 4 of the Curfew Act 2017. Well, the order is cited as the imposition of a Curfew Act No. 10, Order 2021, and comes into effect from 5:01 a.m. on August 6th. Well, according to the information, the extension was necessary to allow the authorities more time to control, suppress, and prevent the spread of COVID-19 in the territory for the protection of all persons in the BVI. But therefore, during the curfew hours between 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. daily, no person shall be on the streets, and every person shall remain confined to their place of residence, inclusive of their yard space, from August 6th to Friday, August 20th. But the order also provided a long list of categories of persons who will be exempted from the current curfew order once in the process of performing their duties or traveling from work en route to their homes. But these include a number of high-ranked government officials, essential workers in health, education, media, supermarket, and cleaning services, as well as persons involved in fishing and agriculture and transportation services. Ron, obviously, following this publication of this particular article, I would have reached out to the Minister of Health, Mr. Carvin Malone, and he did refer to me and told me that Cabinet and him and Cabinet members are actually planning to meet to possibly discuss relaxing the curfew, considering the positive news of the downward trend in positive cases. Understood. And obviously, after following this particular story, when it's, I think it would have broken, the news broke about Monday or Tuesday, where persons would have somewhat criticized the government, for further extending the curfew, considering the serious negative implications it can have for some of the businesses that will remain closed while this curfew order continues.
I think, Kamal, in the interim, that is of major concern to many residents, especially persons who are working in these particular areas, such as the salons, barbershops. We have a lot of persons who work in the childcare facility industry as well. So persons are concerned that those businesses are still not giving or being given the added attention to allow them to make a living. One of the things that we see coming out of this story, in particular to the curfew order, on yesterday, Wednesday the 4th, the governor of the Virgin Islands, of course, would have held a territory-wide motorcade celebrating our local athletes who did an exceptional job at the Tokyo Olympics. Many residents really criticizing the government after that motorcade lasted way beyond the curfew. No official statement as yet from the government on that and that their stance in that, but you definitely see residents who were seemingly not very pleased that even though curfew orders were set and even though it was a reason to celebrate, this breached the curfew with government officials. So of course we're going to have those details, viewers, later on this week. But continuing on August 1st, the public joined in the culmination service to officially mark the ending of the 21 days of prayer and fasting for the territory of the Virgin Islands. Now, in culminating the 21 days of prayer and fasting, a virtual service was held live from the New Life Baptist Church on August 1st at 4 p.m. immediately after the virtual Emancipation Service was held on the Government of the Virgin Islands Facebook page. And now, of course, social distancing and crowd control measures did not allow the general public to physically attend the service, but they were able to celebrate and view virtually. According to Premier and Minister for Finance, the Honorable Andrew A. Foy, the culmination is important as the people of the Virgin Islands collectively petition God to continue to keep us all safe and protected. The government of the Virgin Islands is thanking everyone for joining hearts and hands in unity during the prayer and fasting time. Premier Foy said, and I quote, "Our ancestors always took refuge in the hands of God, and they saw victory prevail. We will continue to keep each other safe. We will continue to focus our efforts on building up each other. We will continue to make sure that our economy is strengthened and not weakened. We will continue to unite in our love for these Virgin Islands. We will all continue to do our part to save our Virgin Islands and to restore and preserve our way of life. We will all continue," he said, "to do everything that is in our power to keep our people and our shores safe in BVI love. We're in this together." Now, Premier Foy added, "I look forward to everyone joining online and or radio as we come together, pray together, and believe God together. As we once again watch God work, we will win this battle." Now, this service was presented and held in harmony with Romans 8:37, which states, and I quote, "In all things we are more than conquerors through him who loved us." Premier Foy announced the 21 days of prayer and fasting in a statement on July 9th, 2021, titled, "Let's Bring the COVID-19 Situation Back Under Control." Premier explained that the 21 days of prayer and fasting was inspired by Holy Scriptures, he said, of Daniel, and additionally as words written in Ezra 8:21-23, which states, "I proclaimed a fast so that we might humble ourselves before our God and ask him for a safe journey for us and our children. We will all our possessions." So we fasted, petitioned God about this, and he answered our prayers. Now, the 21 days of prayer and fasting started on Sunday, July 11th, and ended on Saturday, July 31, with a call to prayer and a fast from 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily. Now, of course, the service, Government Information Services, shared scriptures and encouragement on a daily basis via the Government of the Virgin Islands website and on YouTube. Kamal, the 21 days of prayer and fasting has culminated in the territory of the Virgin Islands. I know upon the inception of the announcement, many persons, while they supported and agreed, we also had persons who felt as though prayer without works is dead, and this was not enough to necessarily save the territory, but I do think that the Premier, in his wisdom, thought it best, and we're happy to see that it was a successful completion.
Indeed, and some can argue as well with if you compare the statistics to where the BVI was at the commence of this 21 days and now where it is.
Good point.
We do see some results. Well, up next, viewers, BVI to soon have 2 functional competition-sized swimming pools after government identified locations on Tortola and Virgin Gorda. This and more stories after a word from our sponsors.
Is business slow? Cash flow down? Hosting an upcoming event? We can help.
Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media@cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works. Brilliant Hands and Minds Tutoring Services, one-on-one tutorials in math and English, intense homework assistance, academic enrichment, school projects, effective communication and public speaking development, sign language for adults and children on Saturdays only. Registered with the Virgin Islands High School Certificate Program, Brilliant Hands and Minds can help you too. Offering intense curriculum-based training to help you or your loved ones get their high school diploma. It's time to make your family's education a #1 priority. Hurry, space is limited. Brilliant Hands and Minds Learning Center. We are the trained education professionals.
Well, viewers, welcome back. Well, the British Virgin Islands may soon have 2 functional competition-sized swimming pools in the territory after government identified locations on Tortola and Virgin Gorda. But this was confirmed by the Minister for Sports, Dr. Natalia Wheatley, during an Olympic press conference on Wednesday, August 4th. But Minister Wheatley said an agreement was made on the 2 locations following several discussions with key stakeholders, which include donors towards the projects.
Question. We've been speaking about pools for some time. Certainly is something I came into the ministry, a discussion I met, when I came. But I think we've identified a spot where we can put one, which has caused some challenges before in terms of identifying the right place. Because we had some persons, including one of the Rotary clubs, that had some funding for a pool. And I think we found the right place for it. So we're going to continue those discussions, see if we can supplement the funding, and we're going to make it a reality. This is something that I've made a priority. And then we're going to bring down Elena, and we're going to have about 20 swimmers in the Olympics in 2024. So, these type of things, you just have to go ahead and execute it and do it. So that's all I can say. We think we have a good spot. Certainly, of course, in Virgin Gorda, that project in Virgin Gorda should be getting going soon, actually, because there's a great deal of interest in terms of seeing it progress. So we expect in Virgin Gorda, we're going to have a pool also in Tortola.
Well, meanwhile, President of the BVI Olympic Committee, Ephraim Penn, spoke to the importance of investing in local athletes to allow for the development of sports in the territory.
Get to the other level, we're going to utilize more of the sponsorship. And really, our goal is not to get sponsorship to put it in a pool, but to give it to the athletes, because our goal is to have the athlete focus. So we're going to try to work and get more funds in the hands of the athletes so that they can develop to the best of their ability. The increased exposure, as I said here, is going to open a lot of doors, and we expect to take full advantage of them. We have an excellent working relationship with the Minister of Sports, and as you can see from what was just said, we are going to make that formalized, because I remember in 1987, the softball team finished 4th at the Pan American Games, and there was all big talk all over the place. How they're going to invest this and invest that, but there was no plan. And look where softball is now. So it's easy to say you're going to invest, but if you don't put the structures in place and build on the structures that are there, then we will not achieve what we hope to achieve. So I am pleased that the minister has bought into what we are trying to do and will work with us to make this even better, because now our next step is at the podium. we are knocking on the door and we need to get in and as soon as possible.
President Penn said the Elite Athlete Program, which was established in 2011, helped to pave the way for the development of the territory's current top athletes, such as Kyron McMaster, Eldred Henry, Shanta Malone, Elena Phillip, and Ashley Kelly. Well, he said the Olympic Committee continues to work on a number of programs which are presently seeing the results in the development of local athletes.
So we have also invested with the Ministry of Education in the long-term athlete development program, where we have put programs in school, physical literacy with Pan Am Sport for Life, to find the future Kyrons, the future Chantels, the future Ashley Kellys, and Elena Phillips. So we are looking at more grassroots program. We have a program now that we're going to be starting by the end of the year with Pan Am Sports for grassroots development program. We have targeted about four or five sports, mainly individual sports, mainly tennis, athletics, of course, you can't forget that, swimming, archery. And I think we also going to have a little bit of rugby in there and 3-on-3 basketball. So we are looking at expand and sailing, of course. So we're looking at expanding the number of sports that represent us internationally. We have 2 here at this Olympics. We were hoping to have 3 with Tad Letzam, but he did not make the mark. But he was in the mix for quite a while, and he's doing quite well. So we could have. And Tad have done so well that he has already qualified, along with Elena, for the Junior Pan Am Games that will be held in Cali, Colombia, in November of this year. So there, and then we have Recoy Bratwitz and the others also qualify.
Viewers, the latest reminder of local athlete development was shown at the ongoing Olympic Games in Tokyo, Japan, where the BVI for the first time had 2 athletes making the finals of an event. The Olympian Chantal Malone finished 12th in the women's long jump event on Monday, August 2nd, while Kyron McMaster finished a close 4th in the fastest ever men's 400-meter hurdles final, setting a new BVI national record of 47.08 seconds. Well, earlier, Olympia's swimmer Elena Phillip also set a new national record in the women's 50-meter freestyle event with a time of 25.74 seconds, finishing 2nd in her semi-final heat. Rwanda, this is very great news considering BVI would have had a small party attending the Olympic Games in Japan and have incredible, very, very commendable results.
I think the work of the BVI Athletic Association, along with persons like Mr. Ephraim Penn, really shows we have really put our money where our mouth is as it pertains to our athletes, and they continue to really raise the standard of athletics every year and continue to make us proud. So, of course, going back to the initial story with the swimming pools, the key word there is may. May have swimming pools sometime in the near future. I think if that is to happen, I think we may see an increased interest in persons swimming and wanting to compete. We are the sailing capital of the world, so I do think that we need to be making provisions to make sure that persons who are interested in this type of athletic activity have options.
And also, just to add, for the persons hearing the minister stating that he expects 20 persons to compete in the Olympics in the swimming event, he was just kidding. He was just kidding when it
I hope so.
He was just kidding at that particular statement. He did clarify afterwards that, you know, obviously to make the Olympic Games, it takes a lot of dedication, a lot of hard work, and he was not making light of, you know, how hard it is to actually make it to the Olympic Games.
Definitely, viewers. We have a lot more content, but unfortunately we are out of time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Happy Thursday to each and every one of you. It's always a pleasure, and we will see you tomorrow. I'm Ron Grant.
And I'm Kamal Haynes. Thank you for joining us.